The Dentalpreneur Podcast. Okay, doctor, it's time to put down that handpiece. You're listening to the show dedicated to helping dentists get their lives back. It's time to decrease your stress, increase your profitability, and regain your passion. Now introducing your host, Dr. Mark Costas.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Dentalpreneur Podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Mark Costas. What's up, friends? I hope you're doing great out there today. Super stoked. It's been a long day. I've done 5 podcasts today. It's been fun, but my voice is a little strained. This is the perfect guest to round my day off with. Somebody that's super high energy, somebody I've known for a really long time, somebody who I could just flip the mics on and we could talk about anything for probably 2 hours nonstop. And that's my good friend, Jordon Comstock. A little bit about Jordon. He's the founder and CEO of BoomCloud. BoomCloud exists to help dental practices create, organize, and track and automate a dental membership program as a strategy to reduce dependence on dental insurance, create recurring revenue, increase patient loyalty, and case acceptance. Jordon started his career in the dental industry by managing a dental lab for over 15 years and soon realized the need for our industry to create membership programs. He studied UX and UI design, web development, and marketing at the Art Institute of Salt Lake City. Jordon is crazy passionate about helping practices create recurring revenue and helping them eliminate the evil empire of dental insurance. Jordon, what's up?
What's up, Mark? How you doing, man?
Good, buddy. It's good to see you again. I mean, just last week we were hanging out live in Denver.
Yes.
You and Dustin were nice enough to come out and participate in our annual DSN meeting. You guys, second year in a row that you guys have helped us with that.
Yes, love it.
You guys are really, really good at structuring meetings and helping with advanced technology and allowing us to borrow some of the frameworks and strategies that you guys have used to build your businesses. So can't thank you enough for that. That was a super, super awesome meeting in Denver with our DSN team. So thank you very much. It was good to see you.
Anytime I get to hang out with you guys, we have a blast. So yeah, very fun meeting, productive. So thanks for having us, man.
Yeah, of course. But a lot of the things that we were talking about were, in my opinion, very sophisticated when it comes to scaling businesses. You have what we would consider a traditional SaaS business, right?
Yes.
Software as a service business, which, there's definitely a lot of pros as far as the scalability of SaaS businesses, but also you have to stay on the cutting edge of lead acquisition, customer acquisition cost, so many different statistics that you have to track. And then there's the whole issue of, technology developing so fast. You have to stay on the cutting edge of that, make sure that
it's so fast.
It's so fast. I mean, daily. And you have to make sure that you remain relevant and do not become obsolete, which I've seen a lot of SaaS companies actually experience in the last couple of years. Do you remember when it was kind of a novelty to have online scheduling? Now it's...
Yes. Yeah. That was the hottest thing. And then it's like everyone's doing it now, it seems.
Yeah. Dime a dozen.
Yeah.
And then there was technology that was very unique as far as, garnering 5-star Google reviews. I mean, now it's dime a dozen. And then, analytics programs were quite unique. Dime a dozen, it feels like. It is a race to remain relevant and to continue to innovate. So for all of the benefits of having a technology-based SaaS company, there's a lot that goes along with that too. And I've learned more about it, the more I hang out with you. So how are some of the things that we were talking about in Denver, customer acquisition costs and revenue quality is a big thing that you were throwing around. Maybe you can help us, take concepts like that and apply them to a dental office.
Yeah. So these are topics that I'm highly obsessed with right now.
Oh, great.
A couple things here. We have ideal patient profile, or in my case, ideal customer profile. It's all the same.
ICP.
So ICP. Yep. Mm-hmm. We have revenue quality, which is really important and often overlooked or not fully understood in dentistry, revenue quality per patient cohort, which is really, really important. If you're really trying to grow your practice and maximize not only profitability, but like scaling and growing a larger practice, patient revenue quality is really important to pay attention to. And then cost to acquire patients. That's always something that we have to look at in dentistry, in any business, right? So that's kind of what some of the metrics that I'm obsessed with as a CEO. I also love, obviously, growth rate is the end all be all metric that I look at every month here at BoomCloud. But if I were running a practice and wanting to maximize profitability and growth rate, I would be looking at how do I maximize the revenue quality per patient cohort, or how can I focus on a specific patient cohort to maximize revenue? And what that means is I typically look at 3 patient types right now when I look at practices. We look at the PPO patient cohort, the cash patient, and now the membership patient cohort. And I'm talking weekly to a lot of our top customers here at BoomCloud that are really trying to maximize their revenue. It's one of the reasons why they utilize technology like ours. And I'm highly curious on like what makes you want to spend money to acquire more PPO patients, right? Or cash patients, for example. A lot of people obsess over cash patients, and every time I look at the data, I have a big question mark on why. And I'll give you some data here. So
please,
Mark, we're looking at we'll start with PPO patients, since that's the most common cohort of patient in most practices. We've looked at a lot of practices, and we found that most, on average, PPO patients spend roughly, and this will change practice by practice, but the practices that we're looking at this data in, PPO patients are spending on average about $500-ish a year, right? They don't even use their full.
They're not even maximizing their benefit, which is usually about $2,000. Yeah.
Yeah. And the reason why I think most PPO plans don't increase the maximum is because they're not using it, so why should we do it? Right. That's kind of their argument from their lens and looking in the industry, which is really interesting. It's like, well, also you guys have designed a plan that has a word called limitations in it. So I wonder if there's some psychology behind your plan creation.
Yeah. You think? Yeah.
Right. We create plans every day. There's psychology behind it.
Right. So, I mean, let's be clear. Like, dental insurance companies make more money if you don't utilize your benefits, right? It's pretty clear. It's a great business model for them because they've figured out how to optimize their plans so that people don't maximize their benefits, so that they keep more bottom line profit for them and the investors, or whoever's involved, right? It may not be a investor driven insurance company. Yep.
Right. So we know that those PPO patients spend roughly $500 a year, right? Every time I look at the data, it's around that, right? And they say yes for a case acceptance. Now they're saying yes about 30% of the time, right? 35% is what, every time I look at it, we see that, right?
Okay.
Plus, on top of that, to acquire a PPO patient, right, you have the write-offs, right? Everyone knows about the write-offs. That is a patient acquisition cost. How I would look at that is it is an indefinite patient acquisition cost. That cost will never leave you because you're writing off between 30 and 50% of your UCR fees, and that is for the lifetime of the customer, which is a huge patient acquisition cost, ongoing forever, plus the red tape and admin cost to manage that revenue stream, right? This is how I look at it. So I look at our different types of customers too here at BoomCloud, right? So that's what the PPO patient looks like from a revenue quality perspective. Okay, the patient acquisition cost is actually really, really high because it's an indefinite write-off, and most of the time it's invisible and we don't feel it as we operate our practices. But when we look at the data, it's like, oh my goodness, that is a high patient acquisition cost. Can I spend my money somewhere else and invest into a channel that's going to get me a higher quality patient that allows me to pay back those acquisition costs and be way more profitable over time, right? Short answer is yes. There's a lot ways to do this, right?
Yep.
So the second cohort is those cash patients, right? Every fee-for-service doctor says, I love my cash patients. They accept 100% of everything I give them, which doesn't follow the sales math business model, right? Or business math. Business math says 100% of everybody is not going to buy 100% of all your services. That's just not how it works.
Most definitely not. Yeah.
Right? So, when we look at that, we see cash patients spend roughly $800 a year, and they say yes to treatment about 24% of the time. Again, these numbers can vary and you can optimize all these numbers, right? These are just snapshots of my recent conversation with a practice looking at this data. And I find it highly interesting, right? So it's like, oh, cool. That's better than a PPO patient. They're not saying yes. I wonder why. Well, it's because they don't have a plan, right? A system to help them say yes. The third patient cohort would be membership patients. And every time I look at this data, Mark, we see that a membership patient spends around $2,100 a year. That's including the subscription. And the average subscription that I'm seeing right now in dental is $450 a year per patient, right? So the $2,100 is including the subscription, right? We've also looked at case acceptance from those patient cohorts, and we're seeing that they're accepting, they're saying yes 40% of the time, being a member, right? Something about no limitations, I think, helps out with that, and a direct relationship with the practice, right? So when we look at these cohorts and we put on our investor hat, right, as a practice owner, where would you spend more of your profit to help scale and maximize more profit? When you look at those,
right?
I would argue it would be more the membership patients, because you get predictable recurring revenue. You also get patients that are committing with their wallet. It's actually an interesting patient profile, right? An ideal patient profile. A patient that's saying, yes, doc, I am going to pay you every month and commit to your office. And they're taking their oral health care seriously, right? So that's interesting. Okay, so how do I now go to market and find and acquire those types of patients so that I have maximum profitability and growth rate for my practice? That's how I think that's the data I look at, Mark.
So I guess that's a pretty easy selection of these three cohorts, right? So PPO,
Yes.
cash, and membership. I guess the more nuanced question is, how much more are you willing to spend in order to get the ideal patient?
Yeah.
And are you willing to accept less new patients
For quality.
in order to maintain that quality?
Yes. Yeah. That's always the question, right? So how much am I willing to spend for this type of patient?
Yeah.
Is always a question to ask. And then, and know your limits, right? Because you don't want to overspend on any type of patient acquisition, in my opinion, right? And most practices, Mark, I would imagine are self-funded, right? They don't have some may have private equity, like if they're multi-location, but we're looking at like the more mature single locations, they're operating off of their own cash flow, right? Most of them. So they still have to operate in a way where they're making wise financial decisions, and they can't be as patient, right? Than like a private equity backed practice. They can be a little bit more patient, if that makes any sense whatsoever. But yeah, so I would say if you're willing to acquire more membership patients, where are they? How do you find them? They're somewhere. You know, that would be always my next question when it comes to investing into more profitability and growth. How do I find this type of patient, and how much am I willing to spend to acquire those patients? And again, half the United States doesn't have dental insurance. And when you look at the cohort of where those patients may be, a lot of them are small business owners that own a business with several employees that those employees don't have like dental care. Like that's something we see all the time. A lot of those types of patients are in that realm of the United States, right? Like my company is a perfect example. We don't buy Delta insurance or whatever PPO plan for our employees as a benefit package. We actually purchase membership plans from practices for our employees as a benefit, right? So every time I talk to a practice owner, I'm like, find people that are small business owners because one, they need to retain their employees, and two, their employees want to have some type of benefit package, even if it's a small company, right? They want something like that, and a dental membership program can do that. We're working. So we also work with optometrists, Mark, that are creating membership plans, and we're sitting down with a new doctor that just signed up with BoomCloud, and I'm crafting a plan with him to benefit all my employees here at BoomCloud. Mm-hmm. And this practice owner, he's going to get a surge of new patients that are membership patients, right? That me as a business owner is paying a 100% or a certain percentage of the subscription fee, right? So that's where, if I were to go to market as a practice owner, that is the cohort of like a go-to-market strategy. I would focus on small business owners. And then there's the other people that are getting ready to retire. That's always a good source of new patients because they lose their dental benefits, and it's easy to get them onto a membership plan. So those are kind of the two areas that I would focus on my go-to-market strategy.
Cool. So what are the most advantageous methods for attracting the most desirable cohort?
Yeah. So there's several ways, right? We can look at online and like offline strategies. That's the easiest. That's where my mind goes. Like online, there's literally millions upon millions of patients every month searching for, I don't have insurance. How do I go to the dentist? Mm-hmm. And I look at that data. We're gathering that data every day across the nation, and we're looking at it and be like, wow, this is actually a surprising amount of people mm-hmm. searching. Maybe maybe they have an emergency, Mark, and they're like, oh, I need to go see a dentist. And they haven't gone because they don't have insurance, right? So those type of like search engine keywords, emergency dentists are really good to find those uninsured patients that haven't gone and they need something done. And often we see emergency patients often churn out. From what I hear from practice owners, like, oh, they'll come in and they just churn out faster than a normal patient. So mm-hmm. It's like, oh, you know how to help them not churn out? Give them a preventative care membership plan, right? So I would start there online. How do you identify in your local area which keywords patients are searching for that you can capture that inbound flow? You can work with a marketing company, or if you're big enough, you can have an in-house team member manage like a PPC ad campaign or SEO campaign.
Sure.
That's the cheapest cohort I think you can do, especially with SEO. You can attract those patients there. And then there's like direct mail that you can use, which you can get hyper targeted. I call this like ABM, account-based marketing is the acronym. But you can be like, all right, where are all these small business owners, for example? I'm going to send them direct mail pieces that are tailored to, business owners and on how I can help them retain more employees, right? Or attract more employees. That's another cohort that I would go to market with. So direct mail. You can do the same thing with social media. You can really hone in the demographics and the location range of who you're targeting. So that's another digital source. I think digital is great, but it also gets really noisy really fast depending on a local market.
Yes.
So you may have to not reinvent the wheel, but you may have to think outside of the box than your competition, right? Because everyone it seems like most practices are launching membership programs now. Mm-hmm. Although I'm still surprised that there's a lot of people that still are like, what is this?
Yeah.
It's like, what?
Yeah, it's true.
So you got small business outreach. You can do that with direct mail, but you can also do that with a human because, meaning they go and visit a small business and educate them on a plan and get them and their employees, typically under 50 employees. I would target those types of businesses. A business owner that has less than 50 employees typically is not offering a dental benefit insurance plan for their employees. And they're not required to, right? They're not usually when you hit the 50 employee mark, I think there's some regulations or laws for business owners that they have to provide some type of insurance, right? Is what I understand. So that is the cohort. Okay. Small businesses that have less than 50 employees that we can go and visit and try and get 40 new patients in batches, right? That's called leverage sales, right? It's like, oh, I talked to one person or two people and I get 40 new patients. Leverage sales is that's kind of what I look at it, even though I know we don't do a traditional software sales model for dental practices, but it does work, right? You can reach out to small business owners all the time. So those are kind of the areas where I would focus from a go-to-market strategy perspective.
I like it.
Yeah.
So over the years, I mean, you've gotten a lot more sophisticated as far as your offerings. I want to kind of go over how you guys have evolved in a second, but of the types of membership plans that exist out there, they're probably, I mean, there's so many different ways to skin a cat, but what's your favorite structure of a membership plan? What does that look like? What are the offerings? What's the price range? How do you collect that? Do you prefer monthly all at once? What are some of those?
Yeah, that's an awesome
specifics?
question. I like from subscription revenue. I mean, there's several reasons why I would like certain types.
Yeah.
So there's the discount only membership plan is great because you can make 100% passive income, whether the patient comes or not, and it can influence treatment.
Yeah.
Right. I've always liked that type of plan because it's super simple. It feels really affordable for most patients, and it still influences case acceptance. Right. So discount only type plans, what they typically look like, it's like, oh, I'm going to charge you $20 a month per patient, and you get 20% discount on all of our services, right? It's simple. I think those are really cool.
Amazon Prime method.
Yeah, it's the Amazon Prime method. I've always thought those are the smartest strategy. But it really just depends on like how competitive your market is. Like if you do that, the dentist down the street may be doing a preventative care membership plan, which includes exams and treatment, or not treatment, exams and cleanings and x-rays that are just bundled into the pricing, right? So it really depends on your market. And I would add, Mark, what we've seen a lot lately is most practices will launch these plans and just copy like their neighbor, right? They're the dentist that's just down the street. They copy the pricing, copy the offering, which is silly to me because we've learned time and time again that your demographics, when you look at your like city demographics on your go-to-market strategy, and that's a geeky way to say your marketing and sales strategy for practice, right? You want to tailor your pricing and your offering to your income demographic, right? So we've seen that when practices actually look at this, and we help with this, when they look at their income demographic of the zip code that they're targeting or zip codes, we then tailor the pricing based off of a formula that we've created that kind of gets the sweet spot of that income demographic. So, for example, Mark, if a practice is in a city that they're targeting that has like a median income, household income of $100,000, the recommended like formula would be like you need to charge between 0.035% to 0.0 that's like 0.5% is the range, right? So a little less than 0.5% to 0.5% of the median income should be the annualized pricing for the membership plan. There's some nuance to that. You also need to look at population size. The bigger the population, you can get closer to like 1% of the median income for your membership plan pricing, if that makes any sense. This is all geeky stuff that we look at all the time.
Yeah.
So as long as my favorite plans are one, a discount only membership plan that's tailored to the income demographics of that region or area that they're targeting. Those work the best because you can tailor the pricing so patients say yes more, and you can scale it up faster. right? That is the secret sauce. Don't copy the dentist down the street. Most of the time, he or she may not know what they're doing, and maybe they copied somebody 2 years ago and haven't updated it, right? Who knows, right? Use data to create the plans, right, and the pricing. Trust me, the minute you do, you'll see the patient adoption increase drastically because you're tailoring to your demographic. So I would say those are my two. I also like the really creative type membership plans. So we had a practice create like an unlimited whitening subscription plan, because like, well, we're in network with so many PPOs, and I don't know if we want to cut out. We're a little bit scared of that. So they decided to create a whitening subscription for all their patients. So it's like, oh, we're not gonna. It's not gonna be uninsured versus PPO patients. We're gonna give it to everybody. I've seen that with Botox too. A lot of practices are doing Botox membership plans. I think this, and I literally was in an optometry practice yesterday too, and I noticed on their board, they're like, ask us about our Botox. I'm like, is everybody in healthcare doing Botox now?
apparently it's so easy to do. Yeah.
Anyone who works in the face, I would imagine they're trained and it's easy.
Yeah.
Right. But I think those are really interesting and highly lucrative. The Botox membership plans, they're charging patients like $150, $200 a month to be a part of these little Botox clubs. I think those are really cool and interesting in the space that's outside of the PPO versus uninsured patient, that you're able to attract more just a different type of patient that's willing to spend a good chunk of money every month on a membership. So I think those are really interesting. And if I were to do, we're even seeing practices that are only whitening subscription practices. We literally have a 14 location practice here in Utah that all they do is whitening subscriptions. I'm like, geez, that's really interesting. And they're attracting patients in like these high, these wealthy neighborhoods that are just whitening subscriptions. And they're literally, they're physical locations where patients go and just get whitening.
That's like crazy.
Interesting.
It is very interesting. Huh.
Yeah. It's called WeWhiten.com. I think, go check them out. I'm highly fascinated with it.
Wow. That's so interesting.
Yeah.
That's we did it. One of your favorite methods was the way that we did it. We just had a straight discount. And, this is way before. I'm an early adopter, dude. Like, yeah, I drove a catering truck before catering trucks were cool. That was my first business.
Yeah, that's sweet.
And I had a membership plan before membership plans were, universally accepted.
Yeah.
And
just ahead of the curve, bro.
Yeah. Well, geez, that's how I roll, bro. That was like 20 years ago. And I had this just straight off the top. It was like 15% off the top. And we charged like $99 for the year, for an individual, and $149 for a family, up to 5. And then we'd have like a one-time registration fee of $20 or $35 or something like that. And the registration fee would go to any of whichever assistant sold the membership plan to.
Smart.
So they would get the one-time membership fee. That they would get $20 on their paycheck or whatever, little bonus. So we would have people in the practice that were selling this thing like crazy. And we had a separate LLC. It was called Ambassador Dental Plan. So
that's right. Yeah, I remember.
Yeah. So Ambassador had its own little LLC. So it had its own credit card terminal. So they would, we'd have a terminal for dental work, and then we'd have a terminal for Ambassador. And then Ambassador scaled up to this thing because we had several dental practices, and we created its own LLC, and it had its own profit and loss and stuff. And when I sold my last practices, I sold Ambassador to the new owner as a separate entity. So that was smart. That was nice. At the end of the year, you just let the money accrue, right? There's basically no expenses, and at the end of the year,
especially with a discount plan like that.
Yeah. So it's just like the only expense we had was Boom Cloud to manage the thing. But that brings me to kind of my next question is that okay, you sold us on the benefits of membership plans, and membership patients are the most valuable cohort. So what is the benefit of having a Boom Cloud type support network that's helping you manage your plan? Why can't you just do it yourself?
Yeah, because people get fired or leave and they bring this stuff with them in their head.
It's
So
true.
processes.
I had one person that was doing it, and when she left, it was very difficult to manage it, which is when we went to automated. Yeah. So
that's probably the biggest thing. Like, so I have a twin brother. His name is Justin. He's our chief operating officer here at Boom Cloud.
Mm-hmm.
And he has a saying. He's like, we build the systems and we put the people in the systems. People come and go, but systems remain the same. Right. That's would be my advice. Like, people do come and go, but if you own the system, like using a technology like Boom Cloud, you are using a system that whether Becky at your front office is there and now you have Jen can now manage it and run it and scale it. Right. And that's the second reality of why you want to use technology is scalability. Some of our top customers, Mark, have multi-million-dollar membership plans now. It's insane. I remember when our first practice years ago hit $1 million in just membership revenue. And the plan that they do is like a preventative care plan, and they have like a tiered, I didn't even talk about the tiered model. Mm-hmm. They have like a gold, the psychology, the gold, silver, platinum, whatever it may be. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. They have a membership plan like that. And the higher you pay, the bigger discount you get, which is kind of cool. And surprisingly, the majority of patients pay for the highest premium membership plan for this practice. But you want to scale this, because when you realize that membership patients are the ideal patient type for your practice, mm-hmm. and people that you want to continue attracting, you want to be the ability to scale this and have a $1 million, multi-million-dollar membership plan, right? It doesn't take much to get that. These practices that we see that hit the $1 million range, this is like 3,000 active patients or something like that, right? In that range. So it's like, it's really actually totally doable. Most people think it's not. It's like, that's just from the membership fees. And if you scale to like multi-locations, you just compound that and you get economies of scale with that. So you want a system and process that remains the same, whether Becky or Jen is in your front office, right? Whoever. Mm-hmm. And you want to be able to scale, because this is a volume game that we're playing with membership plans. Mm-hmm. Where I see a lot of practices make the biggest mistake is like, well, we just want to do it to our cash patients or to new cash patients only, and not give it to anybody else. Like, doc, that's like 50 people, bro.
Yeah.
It's not going to be a lot of value, right? The third thing why you want to scale it is because predictable recurring revenue is the most valuable type of revenue. Let's talk about revenue types, right? Predictable recurring revenue is the most valuable type, where you can increase the valuation or the desirability of your practice, right? If I were in the market to go buy a dental practice today and they said that they didn't have predictable recurring revenue, I would probably skip it or add it, invest into it, right? That's the biggest challenge, right? Where I remember several of my friends here in Utah that are practice owners, when they bought their practices, they had a bunch of patient attrition, because they're like, oh, the new guy's here, I'm out of here, I'm going to go to the other doctor down the street, right? Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. They had patient attrition. When you sell a practice that has a good chunk of patients as a membership patients, there's a lot less attrition for that new practice owner, so it's more desirable. So they're willing to pay a higher premium because of that, right? And I think that's really important to keep in mind, where most practices aren't maybe thinking about that end of exiting. I would imagine most of your listeners, Mark, are thinking about like, okay, how do I increase the value of my practice? So when I'm ready to exit, I got a great exit strategy. Mm-hmm. Yeah. At least that's the hope, right? That your audience is thinking that way.
Of course.
So I think that's the ultimate reason why you would want to scale a membership program, is because you want to make your practice desirable for yourself as the owner operator, and desirable for somebody else if you want to sell it. So that's kind of how I think about it.
Yeah, makes sense. So aside from digital management of your membership plan, the ability to scale, what other benefits are there to Boom Cloud? You guys, I remember back in the day, you guys were very forward thinking as far as offering marketing tips and even kind of pre-done marketing pieces for internally and externally. What other kind of things have you evolved into as far as the deliverables inside Boom Cloud?
Yeah. So all the marketing stuff, we've enhanced that over time. And then I would even say like the metrics, we track all the metrics. We have a dashboard that helps with that. Mm-hmm. We're tapping into AI just like every other technology company, which is exciting because we look at AI in every department here and we have a solution for it internally in our business, which I recommend as practice owners. Like how can you leverage AI like ChatGPT, just basic stuff within your practice? So right now, what we're building, Mark, that we're getting ready to launch are two things that I'll share that with your audience. I don't talk about it much because it's in the making, but we're launching what we call the patient marketplace, right? Mm-hmm. I mentioned earlier in the episode where we're identifying like millions upon millions of search keywords that are being searched every month on Google of, hey, I don't have insurance. I need a tooth extraction. I don't have insurance. What do I do? We are building a patient education center right now where we're attracting those types of patients, and then we're funneling them through to our practices that have Boom Cloud, a listing type service, right? Where we then say, oh, okay, patient, you need you don't have insurance? Cool. Go click here to learn how you can save. And when they click there, they type in their zip code and they can find one of our practices on our platform, right? And then sign up for the membership program right then and there, or call the practice, whatever they feel comfortable doing, right? Mm-hmm. So we're taking advantage, since we have our site has high domain authority in the space, we can rank for all these keywords across the nation and funnel all those patients to our practices that have a patient membership program using Boom Cloud. So that's one thing that we're doing, and we're leveraging both technology and AI to do that on behalf of our practice. The other thing that we're building, and that hasn't launched yet, that's currently in beta, but we'll be launching here soon. The second thing that we're doing is creating a B2B outreach tool within our platform that uses AI to scan all the local businesses in certain industries, right? Mm-hmm. Because we talk about ideal patient profile, there's now ideal business profiles, right? Is how I'm looking at this. Yeah. Meaning, what type of patients are most likely to offer a membership program to their employees, right? Some of the ones we're identifying are other healthcare practices, like the medical practice that's just down the street from your office, right? Or the optometry office or the veterinarian office. They're more health conscious people that we're identifying in this type of business tool that we're creating. So AI goes out, finds those types of cohorts for the practice, scrapes the internet, finds their contact information, and then with one click allows the practices to reach out and build essentially a sales pipeline of small business owners that can end up paying for their membership plan for their employees. So those are kind of the two things that we're doing today that we're helping practices that will be out soon, that we've been building this whole year. It's been quite the journey.
That is awesome. That is awesome. Jordon, I got like 2 more minutes before I have to bounce into my next
in your sixth podcast.
Yes, for sure. But I mean, we're coming to the end of the year, and I want to make this kind of evergreen content. But we're coming to the end of the year, and you're very goal oriented, and you're very organized as far as kind of what you want to achieve within your business and your personal life, et cetera. As you look towards the end of the year and the beginning of the next year, what's your method for kind of sitting down and creating, milestones or benchmarks that you want to accomplish for the upcoming period of time?
Yeah, great question. I start with my goal in mind, like our vision, right? That I want to grow a certain growth rate, right? For example, we then take and we use AI to help us reverse engineer. Okay, Jordon wants to grow by 80%, for example, right? 100%, 80%. What does the business need to do to reverse engineer that so it can create milestones for each of our employees? So we've created, this is my brother. This is the genius of having a twin brother that's very operationally focused. I will give him my vision, and then we will sit down and we use ChatGPT to reverse engineer our growth goals and what we need to do. And then we also take the data of this year, for example, and say, what worked this year for growth, and how can we maximize that more? How can we where can we spend more money on that? Right. And we'll import all of our data into ChatGPT, and we'll do an analysis like super fast. That's how I'm operating as a CEO today, to make sound financial decisions backed with data on the vision that I'm trying to achieve here at Boom Cloud. So that's what I'm doing.
That's awesome, dude. That's awesome. It's been fun to watch.
Geeky.
It's so geeky. But I tell the story all the time, but I just remember way back in the day, it was like the two of us were brand new to the industry, and we were kind of, we were kind of showing up at dental conferences, like not knowing many people, and didn't have a lot of sophistication to our businesses at the time. And it's fun to have watched you grow and scale by so much, get more and more sophisticated. You have like this really vibrant team and operationally super strong. And the amount that you've been able to grow and scale has been really fun to watch. So congratulations on all of your success, man. It couldn't have happened to a better person.
Thanks, man. You rock. Always appreciate your support in those early days. That's something I will probably never forget. So appreciate you.
All right, brother. Well, ladies and gentlemen, as always, it's great to be able to hook up with my friends for years and years that I've had in the dental industry. Jordon, one of the earliest. So it's been great. Happy holidays to you, my friend. All the best to you and your family.
Happy holidays, brother.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, Jordon Comstock.